Today we will be looking at Part C of Problem 1 on Test 3 of Greco's physics test. Now the question states that an ancient alien spaceship is discovered orbiting our star. The only force acting on the spacecraft comes from the gravitational interaction with the star. The spacecraft is observed at 5 different times, moving from position A to E as indicated on the diagram. For each of these locations, draw the following vectors: F net, F parallel, and F perpendicular. If any of these are 0, please indicate it on the diagram. So starting with number A, we know that since it's at this location in the orbit, its circular movement is that of a circle, which means that the force in the parallel direction will be 0. As you can see there. In this case, we know that our net force will be the gravitational force between the star and the spaceship. So that will be pointing to the left. And in the same way, our perpendicular force will also be pointing in that direction, which makes sense because the forces are kind of being pulled in towards that star. Now as we look, the spaceship is moving in orbit around the star, but it's traveling away from the star. So when we're looking at the parallel forces, we know that it's going to be tangent to the orbit and to the trajectory, but it's going to be kind of moving against the direction that it's following, against this path. So looking at B, we know that it's going to be just like this. Also here, it will be just like this. Again here at D, just like that. And at E, we come to the same thing. We're also in that circular movement, kind of traveling just like this. So again, we know that our parallel force will be equal to 0. Now, we know that with parallel and perpendicular forces, they make a 90-degree angle with one another. So to kind of find the perpendicular forces, we pretty much take our parallel force and redraw that at a 90-degree angle to get our perpendicular forces. And again here, we know that the net force will be towards the star due to the gravitational force. So we have F net. And then the same likes, our perpendicular force will be pointing in that same direction. So now that we have both the parallel and perpendicular force, we have the net force, which is again the same thing. It is the gravitational force between the spacecraft and the sun. So that arrow should be pointing toward the sun, and it should also be in between both the parallel and perpendicular forces. So it's kind of coming in like that. Again here, coming like that towards the star, which makes good sense. Again here, towards that star. And that leaves us with the parallel, perpendicular, and net force of the spacecraft at each of those locations, which, knowing that really the only force acting on it is a gravitational force, this makes good sense. I hope that helps.